Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Alex C. I hope you had a good lunch. So I'm the first speaker for the afternoon. The title of my presentation is rather long, but basically I'm examining the preferred learning style of a cohort of second year electrical engineering student. And I'm also investigating on the effectiveness of using a blended approach of learning through the use of customized online video instruction. Right, so without further ado, please let me take you through. The flow of my presentation will be as shown over here. Firstly, I will talk about a challenge that we face. I'll be examining this preferred learning style preference. This is a model that was developed by a researcher in New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand, Dr. Fleming's model, learning style preference. I will also be talking about the significance of this study, basically examining the effectiveness of using this blended approach technique through the use of customized online video instruction. I will move on the discussion to talk about the methodology and the procedure of how I carry out this research. And then I will provide you with the results and analysis findings, and to wrap up the presentation with conclusions. So I would like to give you a quote that was mentioned by one of the senior minister of state in Singapore, Mr. S. Iswaran. This quote was taken from 2011 during one of his signing ceremony. But what he said is that many countries face the challenge of declining students' interest in engineering. Okay, so I think this issue that we face actually could translate into issues for us as an academic, because we are constantly facing students, academically weaker students that are being admitted into our engineering program, and we are constantly thinking of different strategies or ways in how we can engage these learners. In fact, just 3 days ago, I had a chance to meet up with one of the professors from overseas, and she was also lamenting about the same kind of challenge that we face in her own country, in the university. So in fact, also to add on, I also had looked at one of the recent report in the OECD 2014 report, and it seems that this trend has not yet been reversed, right? So as we are looking at some of the ways of trying to engage the learners, perhaps besides looking at the intrinsic motivation factor, the question may be, could we possibly look at the learning style preference of the students and also our teaching delivery, and possibly developing some strategies or approach to improve the overall learning experience for the student. So this learning style preference is a model that is developed by Dr. Fleming from Christchurch, New Zealand. He coined this term called the VARK, which stands for visual, A for auditorial, R for read, write, and K for kinesthetic learning. There are many different kind of learning preference tools out there, but this particular tool that I've chosen, because this particular tool has an online 16 questionnaire and is quite easy to administer. All right, and a respondent may select multiple responses per question. Okay, I'll show you the survey form in the next slide. And just to highlight that, proponent Felder and Silverman have also argued that there often mismatch may exist between the engineering professors and the learning style preference of students. Sometimes when this happens, then the effectiveness of the students' learning may be undermined. All right. So as I mentioned, the four major sensory learning modalities as defined as follow in the neurocognitive system. So it could be visual, auditorial, reading, read, write, and kinesthetic. These are the preference of learning style, which means that we maybe have a certain preference for taking in information through either of in these few sensory learning modalities. Okay, it's just a preference. It is not diagnostic in nature. It's just a certain preference of how we take in information. So, for example, if a students are very kinesthetic in nature, then the student may prefer to see a demonstration or do some physical activities or some construction and so on. And as opposed to perhaps a student who is more visual, then he may want to look at things, look at a graph, look at a video and so on to learn. Right, now the objective of this research study basically is to first of all examine this particular cohort of students, looking at EE students, looking at their VUC learning style preference. And secondly, to assess the learning style preference differences, whether between male and female, would there be a difference? And also to examine the learning impact of using this blended approach of learning through the use of customized online instructional videos. So these are the purpose of this research. Now, my own module was identified for this experimental study. I was looking at a second year module known as Sensors and Instrumentation module. It's a continuous assessment module for second year students. And this particular module involves learning a graphical programming software LabVIEW, and students would need to learn about some data acquisition through the use of hardware, some fundamental knowledge of analog to digital converter, some communication bus and so on. So the traditional way of the teaching will be to teach, and student will go on and do some hands-on. And this is a CA module, and students come into class 3 hours per week. Now with the new approach called the blended approach, additional video instruction was given to students freely. So in addition to the video instructions was given freely to the student. Okay, this is just a picture to show you that over here, a student is actually uses 2 computer screen. So one of the computer screen is that you can see that it's actually viewing the customized online video instruction, and of course at the other hand, with the other computer, the student is able to carry out to follow some of the procedure of doing things. So it is more for this part here, it is more on the procedural knowledge rather than declarative knowledge that we are talking about. And also, not very clear over here, one of the students actually given the liberty to use a earpiece to listen to the instruction from the online video instruction, listen to the audio. So allow me to share with you the YouTube video. Okay, as an example.
Hi guys, I'm here to show you how to test the feature on the DAQ demo box.
So what you can see is that there is a narration and there's a video instruction, and what happened is that we have a customized hardware,
6009.
Which we will see in a moment.
Go to test and what we're going to test today is basically the
yes, correct. So what you can see is that we have a very customized video with our own customized hardware that we are using in the lab. Yeah. So yes. So students, this particular data acquisition hardware is interfaced to some peripherals like LEDs, push buttons, sensors, and so on. So students are allowed to watch this video and also to learn how to control the digital I/O as well as the analog input/output this particular system. So we have a suite of video instruction that we have created, and then we have given it freely to the student. So I think I will pause this video, okay, and take you back to the presentation slide. All right. So now I would like to move on to the methodology and procedure of how this set of experimental study was carried out. The ethics committee was approached to seek approval for this particular study. So this is the IRB reference number, and the permission from the director was also obtained. So in this case, the sample population of 116 second year EE students were participated in this study, and that was conducted in the year 2013 in the semester 1. For the data analysis package, I was using the SPSS statistical package 17. So this is the design framework, research design framework and with intervention. So you can see that this duration of study took place for about 7 weeks, in which there were 5 classes which are the control groups, which has no intervention. They undertook the traditional mode of delivery, no video, traditional mode of delivery. Now another 2 groups were the experimental group, in which they were given the intervention. So they was through this blended approach, they were given intervention with the customized online video instructional videos for the whole duration of 7 weeks. And at the end of week 7, a practical test midterm quiz was conducted, and the scores were tabulated, measured data, did a test, and we tabulate the scores. So at the same time, this is a quasi-experimental approach because we use the convenience sampling rather than true probability sampling. And during the week number 1, a VUC learning survey instrument was administered to the group of students, to all the students in fact. So now the research was guided by 3 questions really. The first one was, what are the learning style preference of this particular cohort of students? And were there significant difference in the learning style between the genders, male and female? And also to examine what is the learning impact of using this blended approach way, where we have customized online video instruction, whether it actually improves the students' learning. So these were the 3 questions. Now, and also to be more purposeful in a more systematic way, 2 null hypotheses were tested. So firstly, the null hypothesis 1 was to say that there are no difference in the VUC learning style modalities between the male and the female participant. And null hypothesis 2 was that there are no difference in the achieved test score by the participants in either the traditional versus the blended approach. So these were the 2 null hypotheses. So to begin with, allow me to show you the demographics. We have a population of 116, of which 23% were female and 77% were male participants. In terms of the delivery mode, B for blended, which is the 2 classes of the experimental group, and I have the other 5 classes, T, 69% were the control group. So these were the demographics of the study. So, allow me to show you the VUC survey instrument. Now, this survey instrument was not designed by me. It was designed by Dr. Fleming, so I'm just using his instrument. So, the 16 questionnaire, I'm just showing you 3. So, in this questionnaire, the students were asked to answer a total of 16 questionnaire, and each student is allowed to answer more than 1 response per question. If there's a need, they can answer more than 1. So these are some of the questions. And towards the end, there's a scoring chart in which we have to tabulate the total score. So count the number of Ks, the number of Vs, A, R, and so on. So tabulating this score. And then I have to do an analysis on whether the students have a certain preference to a certain learning style modalities. So from this result, among the 107 students who responded, 2 larger responses came from the K, kinesthetic, as well as the auditorial learning preference. But that does not mean that they are there could be multi-modalities. That means they could have preference to take in information from other different other sensory mode. Okay, so from here now, recoding and further analyzing the data reveal that quite a majority of them are with multi-modalities. 65.4% of them have more than one preferred learning style preference. So they could be bimodal, 30%, about bimodal, that means 2. They can have trimodal, 3, or quadmodal. But in observing the unimodal students who are skewed towards 1, I further analyzed the data, and it revealed that over here seems to be a dominance of for the male to possess the kinesthetic preference of learning. And over here in this study, I found that the female students possess, in this case, female students are more visual learners. Single V, all right. So also majority of the respondents have multi-modalities, all right, which is consistent with the Dr. Fleming's published data, research data that he has done over the years. So in terms of the learning style preference of the second year students, okay, it is clear that the 65.4% of this particular cohort of students have multi-modalities of learning preference. And for the unimodal learners, okay, those in this cohort, it seems that there is a bias towards kinesthetic as well as auditorial learning. So I did a further test, chi-square test, to try to see whether the null hypothesis 1 is accepted or rejected. I was looking at the 4 different learning modalities, and what stands out is that the visual and the kinesthetic, there were statistical significant difference between these two. Because looking at the statistical p-value of less than 0.05, right? What I can say is here that over here, it can be said that there are statistically significant difference between the male and the female for the visual and the kinesthetic learning style in this particular cohort. And at the same time, males are more kinesthetic learner, and the female in this case are more visual learner for this unimodal group of cohort. So the null hypothesis 1 is rejected. Now, after the 7 weeks of intervention, all right, and to see whether the online video instruction was effective or not, what is the impact of using this online video instruction on the students' learning? So I went on to see, we did further two independent sample t-tests was carried out, and it was clear that there's no statistical significant difference between the test score for male and the female participant in this particular cohort, right? So there are no statistical significant difference in the test score between male and female. Then moving on, in terms of looking at the test score for the 2 modes of delivery, which is the group in the control group and the experimental group, okay, what I found was there are significant differences, statistically significant difference between the test score for the blended and the traditional mode of students. So it seems that students in the one with in the experimental group with the customized instructional videos have performed better than those in the traditional mode. Okay, so the answer will be there was an increase in about 10% of the mean raw score for the students in the experimental group. So for the over here, it remains clear that there are statistical significant difference between these two group of students, and that hence the null hypothesis 2 is rejected. So students perform better. So in summary, a majority of these students in this cohort are learners with multi-sensory learning, 65.4%, and for the unimodal learners, 33.6%, female exhibited stronger preference for visual, while the males are more kinesthetically dominant. And in terms of the test score, the male and female participants do not exhibit statistical significant difference in the test score in either groups. So the male or female doesn't matter in this case. For the other results that I have, the students in the blended approach perform better than students in the traditional mode of delivery, at least an increase in 10% of the mean raw score. So the limitation of this study will include it is not okay to generalize these results to other courses or programs that could be misleading. Limited sample size, of only 116 students. And also in this case, it was using the convenience sampling approach, is non-probability, because ideally it was to have the students all randomly sampled, but it's not possible in this case. So we use the convenience sampling approach rather than the true sampling. Linking student style preference to performance outcome was not carried out, and other extraneous factors that has not been considered. So in conclusion, of course, it is still tall order. We still have challenges faced in the engineering education. Learning style preference are important for consideration in terms of our course delivery, perhaps. All right, and of course, it is quite clear for this case that this study, the blended approach of delivery through the use of customized online video instructions seems to be quite effective for this cohort of students. So with that, I thank you, and if you have any question, I'll be happy to take them. Thank you.